Today we're going to clear up a little confusion. This is being pitched around a lot, and this is Ashtaroth, is the name of an ancient Semitic goddess, and the plural form of the name is Ashtaroth. The name Ashtaroth comes from the Hebrew word Ashtaroth, which was first recorded in 1520 to 1540. The last two syllables of the word are distorted with the vowels of the bosheth, which means shame, shameful thing, or abomination. Okay? Keep that in mind. Worship. Ashtaroth was the goddess of the Canaanites and was worshipped along the seacoast from Rosh Shamra, Ugarit, southward toward Phoenicia and Philistia. She was associated with sex and fertility and was often depicted with the sun god Baal. Ashtaroth is mentioned in the Bible in Judges, Samuel 7, Samuel 12, Jeremiah 44, Kings 11, 1 Kings 11, and 2 Kings 23. Ashtaroth is also known by Astarte by the Greeks and Romans and Ishtar by the Assyrians. What does the name Ashtaroth mean in the Bible? Ashtaroth was worshipped as the goddess of a wide variety of things. She was connected both with the moon and the planet Venus. Easton's Bible Dictionary said she represented the passive principle in nature. She was also seen as a goddess of fertility, sexual love, and war. She is also known as the Queen of Heaven. Keep that in mind. What is Ashtaroth known for? The Queen of Heaven, to whom the Canaanites burnt offerings and poured libations. Jeremiah 44. Astarte, goddess of war and sexual love, shared so many qualities with her sister Anath that they might originally have been seen as a single deity. Orphan. Anath is Hindi, orphan. What is the meaning of Baal and Ashtaroth? Baal and Ashtaroth were principal god and goddesses respectively of the Canaanite nations. Baalim and Ashtaroth were the plural forms of these names, referring to the many shrines and images in their honor. Baal, singular, but when you have that I am, like Elohim, that I am, it's what we use for an S, making it plural. Baal was essentially associated with the sun and storms, Ashtaroth with sex and fertility. I don't know where they're coming up with all this stuff at, but it seems to be very prominent. Ashtaroth in demonology is known to be the great Duke of Hell in the first hierarchy with Beelzebub and Lucifer. Well, we've already seen that Lucifer, the shining one, is the star Sirius. I'm going to try to do a star every week that's connected with these deities. And where is modern day? Actually, is it a city? Tel Ashtaroth. In Bashan. So the Bashan. What is that today? Isn't Huron or Hanan part of, well, we know it's either part of Israel, Turkey, Syria, in that area right there. What is the star of Ashtaroth? Ashtaroth in the plural, is but a mockery of the true spiritual heavenly host. Ashtaroth is a false shining, a false light, representing the raging waves of the sea foaming out of their own shame, the wandering stars to whom is reserved the blackness of darkness forever. This just keeps going, and the more you go through it, the more confusing it becomes. And you gain no understanding out of this crap. But we do get some clues that we can use in our favor. So, let's jump over to Stellarium and see what they have to say. All right, before we go to Stellarium, I want to come over here to planetary linguistics. Now, this page has been scrubbed, updated, changed from its original form pre-Google, taking over YouTube and everything else on the internet. Now, the original planetary linguistics I have in video form, and they're all still over on Brighteon if you want to go over there and go through them. It's let's talk about Mercury, let's talk about Venus, and you can go through those and you'll see the changes that have been done. Because they did. They changed some of it. They used to have, down here on the bottom, they even had Klingon on the original. That even the Klingon from the Star Wars thing had their names of the stars. Now, I've gone through both sets. And nowhere do I find the names of Ashtaroth or Baal, okay? So I've covered this. I'll leave a link for this below. I encourage everybody to come over here, especially all you new folk, because I've been through this. I began in linguistics and with planetary linguistics. That's where everything really opened up for me, because I didn't believe in astrology. I didn't understand alchemy. I didn't know anything about anything. All I had was a bunch of information that was very, very confusing. What I had was 50 years of a box of puzzle pieces that didn't have a picture on the front cover. I didn't even know what the puzzle was supposed to look like. But I had all these pieces, and I had to start putting them together. Now, I will say that this list seems to be more thorough than the original planetary linguistics, but it's also been scrubbed of some of the names in here that are the same. Some have changed and some are the same. More added than anything. Nibiru, I don't care that it has E's or I's. Vowels are freaking irrelevant when it comes to dialect. But Nibiru, here, it's the Babylonian name for Jupiter. And the other one, it was the Hebrew name for Jupiter. Which, no, I take that back, because Zadok. You'll find that a lot in the Bible, referring to Jupiter. Now, in the Bible, when they tell you, let's use what the Lamb said. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, and your soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. Your neighbor. Not my neighbor, his neighbor, not his God, her God. Your. And your ruling planet, based on your sun and moon signs, according to the two astrologies, are your gods. Each of us have 7. Now, I need to make it very, very clear that the way I understand this now is that all of these names, all of these planets, what we call stars or whatever, they're inside of us. They're part of our chakra system. They're part of our endocrine system. And this system regulates everything. It heals us. It's our hormonal system. It's our defense system. It's our growth system. It maintains the mind, Mercury, the body, which is the lower chakra, really Jupiter. And then the soul, which is Saturn and the sun. We've got 2 feet. You have 2 souls on the bottom of your feet. You have 2 souls. Actually, it's 1 soul. It's just divided, like all your chakras are divided. They have, Mars has a masculine house in Aries and a feminine house in Scorpio. Saturn has a masculine aspect in Aries and a feminine aspect in Capricorn, even though Saturn is just 1. Each is just 1. But like ourselves, regardless of whether you're born XX or XY chromosomes, you have masculine aspects and feminine aspects. And one is generally dominant over the other. It's not about gender. It's about energy. We're supposed to alchemically transmutate on the inside, not the outside. The outside is just your clothing. It should be irrelevant. You can do whatever you want to it. But as above, so below. So as without, so within. If you change the outside, the inside will change. If you change the inside, the outside change. Remember the old saying, the clothes make the man. And like when you put on uniforms, policemen and military and all these people, they'll tell you that uniform has power to it. It's symbolic. People who have tattoos, they feel empowered by these symbols on their body, even though they don't have a damn clue where they really come from, what they really mean. And me, I'm scared to death of symbols because I know how powerful they are. They're so powerful, the God of the Old Testament was afraid of them. Out of 10 laws for man to live by, the second law forbids any graven images of anything in heaven, the element air, anything in the seas, the element water, or anything in the earth, the element earth. Because he was a fire deity. He is a fire deity. So the only symbol that was allowed was that triangle pointed up, which is the symbol for fire or light. All right. I encourage everybody to come over here, even those who have been on the old one, because this is so updated. There are a lot that has been added. I advise you to overlay it with the old videos that are there on Brighteon with the original planetary linguistics, so that you have the full scope of what's there, what they took away, and it'll give you a better understanding of it. But again, gone through all of this, old ones and the new ones, and no finding Ashtaroth or Baal. Love it that Mercury is Buddha, for all those who argue with me. Hermes is Mercury, Buddha is Mercury, Aphrodite is Venus, but Hermaphrodite is part of Mercury. Jupiter, Zeus. Guru, Jupiter. Rashpati, again, Jupiter. Zadok, Jupiter. Nibiru, Jupiter. All of these are Jove or Giove, where we get Giovanni. So all of the names are here. The sun, the moon, all of them. Now, the thing, we have more here where Saturn is concerned than the other one. Saturn was pretty much scrubbed worldwide. And that was done during the colonization. The Vatican and the European colonizers, when they went into a place, they took all their, just like the Babylonian priesthood did. which is what we're really dealing with here. The old Babylonians, like Alexander the Great, did the same thing. When you conquer a country, you take their people of knowledge, you absorb them into your own knowledge. That's why we have this amalgamation zodiac for the West. They've absorbed zodiacs from around the world. And really, there's nothing more confusing than the Greco-Roman zodiac. We'll get to that in a minute. But you absorbed it, and you took the knowledge from the people. You rewrote the knowledge, you rewrite history, you reset the civilization, and then you give them back what you want them to have. I'm sitting on a Native American Indian reservation, and that's exactly what they done to the people here. They took their symbols, they took their colors, they took their flags, they took their knowledge, their language, they destroyed it all. It's colonization, and what the Vatican done was like Alexander the Great did it. All these great empires did it, and you assimilate like the Borg. You will assimilate, or you will be destroyed, and this is what they do. But if we really dig, and we really do our homework, then we can come to understand some of this and start putting those puzzle pieces in the right place till we get a big picture. Now, to Stellari. All right. Let's go over here to the date. October the 26th, 2024. 2:40 a.m. I want to... let's go right here. This is what we call Arcturus. Remember, he has a little sickle in his hand. Where do we see this? And the spear. And there's a little crown right here. This is Hercules over here, and this is Arcturus. And we have this little crown that sits between them. And the main star in that crown is called Alphecca. 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 Alhecca. And from the Gnosis, Ashtaroth. You see that? That's the name of it. We can go through the different ones. They give you several names. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 names for that one star. Arcturus, just one. Alphecca, let's jump over into, but clearly, Ashtaroth. Ashtaroth, right here, right above the serpent's head. This is the serpent holder, or the snake charmer. The snake charmer. And right above his head, let's change Star-Lord. I want to do something else first too, because I'm not using this information right now. Let's scoot this over here, because we're going to go through them. Because I found something very interesting. Another thing I want to do is that one, this one. I want to light up the symbol, the constellation lines, because a lot of them don't have images, so you have to have the symbols. In the Arabic, it's the Northern Crown, the broken ring of stars, Ashtaroth. Moon stations, the bright one of the fractured bowl. The bright one of the fractured bowl. Aztec, nothing. Belarusian, the crown of thorns. Do you see that? The Burong, it's part of the ant. It's an ant. It's part of the ant constellation. The meat ant constellation. In the Chinese, it's the coiled thong. Dakota, Lakota, Nakota, nothing. Egyptian, it's part of the Hippopotamus constellation, next to the Crocodile constellation. Hawaiian star lines, nothing. Indian Vedic, nothing. Which there should be, because it's part of their thing too. Inuit, nothing. Japanese moon stations. I don't even know how to pronounce this. Camille Aurora. Korean. Thread straw. Now the Korean zodiac, they don't have images. They've stolen all that from us. But they do have the lines and the names more than any other zodiac. We'll get back to that in just a minute. I want to stay with Ashtaroth here. Macedonian, the Round Table, the Knights of the Round Table. Maori, nothing. Mongolian, nothing. Navajo, nothing. Norse. Arvudanseal's toe. Am I saying that right? Bendanseal's toe. I can't even see that really well. It's the Sweat Lodge in Ojibwe. Romanian. It's the ring dance. Altheka. In Sami, nothing. Sardinian, the dance of widows. Siberian, nothing. Tonga, the cloud of Uvia. Tucano, nothing. Tupi-Guarani, nothing. And then our Western, which is the Corona, the Crown, the Corona Borealis. There are many crowns in the zodiac. I want to, before we get into all of that, I want to kick back over here to the Korean for just a second. Let me move this out of the way and give you an idea of just how thorough they've named the stars and what they call them. They've taken the images from us. All the pictorials are gone, but we do have the symbol, the star lines, and the names. And it is phenomenal. If I have any Koreans out there and y'all have the old myths, tales, religion, whatever, it would be greatly appreciated. I can see now why they want to make that part of the world atheistic communism, because a dictatorship, they can't, the information is incredible. I'm just really blown away by how much is here. They're not giving us the Korean name, they're giving it straight to us in the English. And there's some pretty interesting names here. So let me pull this back. And let's go back to the Arabic. Because like I said, we have several crowns here. And the Arabic, it's the northern crown. Looks like a chalice here. The broken ring of stars. So do we translate Ashtaroth, the broken ring of stars? I didn't want you. There's just so much, it's incredible. But this is, you have to jump back and forth. Let's go over here and I'll show you what's going on, what I mean by what they're doing. Let me put it in the Western, because this is the one we're familiar with, the one they dump on us. Capella, that's a Greek word. Same constellation. We have Min-Kalanin, Kalanin, and that's Aramaic. And then we come back over here to Castor and Pollux. Again, this Greco-Roman. They jump from, and Pollux is not Hercules. I don't know where the hell they get this from. But it is so jumbled up. It's so messed up. It's so confusing. You don't know who or what you're dealing with. You just really don't. It's freaking crazy. We have another crown here. This is another crown. The Alpheka. Again, crown obviously means Alpheka because we have that over there. Meridian. Let's jump it to the Arabic to get our real name. Just the crown. They're not even going to tell us. A lot of this got scrubbed. That's why I'm so grateful for those other videos I still have up, because so much has been scrubbed. Now, I came on earlier trying to look at some stuff, and there's so many satellites up there right now that it's hard to do anything without. Some of the stars you can't even click on because there's a satellite sitting on top of it. Back to Gemini. I don't know how many of you see the Shiva image here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's the Shiva image. First one of the brand mark. The mark of the beast. The mark of the system. The image of the beast. The forward foot. Oh, we got another one. Tijat. Oh, it's over here. The second one of the brand mark. There are 2 brands. And that's going to come off of the Pollux. Castor and Pollux. But it can be very confusing. The rain holders here. He's the watcher. He's the watcher. He's watching the Pleiades. These are the watchers that came down. Orion is the giant. A lot of our stories and mythologies, what they did when these empires come through and they take all your information, they take your mythos and give it to the next people that they conquer, but they change the names. They keep changing it. So, and that's what's occurring right now. They're changing everything, and the symbology is nothing but the symbology of Gemini through the different zodiacs. And you have to jump through them to see who's who. Who's who? There's your eagle. And to refer to them, you literally need to know them all. But so many has been scrubbed, especially the real Oriental ones, the Japanese, the Korean, the Chinese. They're not letting us see a lot of that. So we're going to have to depend on who's who. Mangala. Where have we heard this? That's the name of Mars in the Indian Vedic. Inuit. You have nothing there. You have to put this up to get it. But as far as just images go, actually, let me leave this one up. Remus and Romulus. All roads lead to Rome. They're the brothers. Some of them are the twins, and in some stories they're the brothers. But all of this imagery right now is coming straight out of Gemini, which those of us with a biblical background will understand as Ephraim and Manasseh. And their symbols, literally, the unicorn is the symbol of Manasseh, the tribe of Manasseh, which was Joseph. Joseph's house was divided. Joseph was sent down into Egypt. That's why I keep telling y'all, they're telling us Egypt is Taurus. No, no, no. Egypt is Gemini. I am a firm believer, linguistically, astrologically, symbolically, when you look at those three, what we are described as Egypt in the Bible is not in Africa. It's freaking India. Solomon, the Queen of Sheba. It's not Sheba, it's Shiva. It's not the Queen of Sheba, it's the Queen of Shiva. All the imagery is coming from India. That's the one we need the most. India, China, Japan, Korea. Some of them we've got constellation lines. Some of them we've got names. But we have no imagery. We have all this imagery that comes out of India. To me, Egypt is India, and what we call Egypt in Africa is Babylon. That's Babylonian. And the Babylonian came from India. India come first. After the flood, cardinal water, right here, Cancer. And then the first symbol that we're given after the flood is the frickin' rainbow. So the beginning of the mutable aeon, an aeon is 4 constellations. It always starts in air, and an aeon always starts in air and always ends in water. And they are attributed to like fixed mutable cardinal, to the crosses. So we're in a mutable aeon after the flood, and we have Gemini, mutable air, and we end it in Pisces, mutable water. The symbol for mutation is that big X, an X, a red X for Gemini, a white X for Pisces, a black X for Virgo, and a yellow or gold X for Sagittarius. A white cross for Scorpio, a black cross for Taurus, or Tau, a red Tau cross for Aquarius, a yellow Tau cross for Leo, and then the cardinal cross is an arrow. A black arrow is Capricorn, a white arrow is Cancer, a red arrow is Libra, and a yellow arrow is Aries. But once you start putting all those symbols together, and putting this puzzle together, it start making sense. So I told you the end from the beginning. Well, our beginning began after the flood. We don't have anything pre-diluvian. It was all washed away. I have no other word for it. Reset. Mud flood. I don't care what you want to call it. They do this over and over again. And every time it's earth, water, it goes air, earth, fire, water. Air, earth, fire, water. And that's in the processional counter. I'm looking at long count. Otherwise, it's water, fire, earth, air to us. Because we're going around the circle this way on a day-to-day basis. We're going counterclockwise on a mundane day-to-day basis. But that circle travels 2 ways. It goes both ways. It's a double-edged sword. While we're going counterclockwise on day-to-day, Our long count calendar goes the other way. So, clearing up the Ashtaroth up here with Draco the dragon, Atoka is Ashtaroth. Is this Baal? What does it have to do biblically? Where do they get this story? Is it like Lucifer over here in Sirius? That it's the old Egyptian, that we're told Egyptian, that when it rises is when it signals the flood coming. Lucifer rises and then Lucifer falls. That's another name we don't get in planetary linguistics. Lucifer. Not there. Baal. Not there. But Ashtaroth is. Now that's interesting. See, it jumped, a satellite jumped over the top of it. Now I can't click on it. It won't let me click on it. So a satellite XW2B international designator is sitting on top of it. So I can, it slowly seems to be moving. Okay, we got it now. It's moving across it. That's really interesting. You can literally just tag onto these things and watch them move. But anything that shows up in the blue square is telling you it's a man-made metal moving satellite, what we call satellites. But again, for you newbies, Ophiuchus is not the 13th sign. That's more misinformation, disinformation. It's giving to you on purpose. There are many crowns. Anything with corona is crown. Obviously, Alpheka means crown. So Al means the, so Pheka would be crown. And there are many throughout the different zodiacs. Many, many. Here's the fornax. The fornax is the furnace. This has a lot to do with the thalamus and the endocrine system. I refer you to Bill Donahue's teaching where he taught about the fornax in the Greek, because we actually have a fornax in our brain. They didn't even bother to change the name. We actually have a fornax in our brain. We actually have, here they tell us this is Pegasus, but it's the hippocampus, which is the seahorse, which is where your memory is in your brain. Fomalhaut is the thalamus, it's the thalum, it's the thalamus. It triggers the pineal gland. But it starts in the fornax. That's where everything heats up. But all of this is within us. It's in your body, in a line, but also there's a crown on your head, a zodiac crown on your head, and the parts of the brain that rule the different chakras. They rule the different chakras. The parts of the brain control the body. You think to move your right hand moves. You think to pee. You don't just pee. You hold it and then you let it go, or you force it out, or whatever. It's a controlled act. But all that happens in the brain. So the crown on your head is associated directly with the chakras down the spinal that are directly associated with your endocrine system. Mars is the root chakra. The root chakra deals with fertility, procreation, sexuality. Mars in Scorpio is sexuality. But hormones, it deals with hormones. That's the endocrine system part of it, are your hormones, your growth hormones, your breeding hormones. Also, that would be the Scorpio part, and then the adrenaline, rage, fight or flight, that would be the Aries part of it. The emotions. So your emotions are tied directly to your reproductive system. Isn't that strange? What incredible creations we are. So back to Ashtaroth over here, Atoka, that we're told is an abomination. Kind of don't know what to believe, do you? Well, if this is the colonizer's crown, then it is abomination. But there are many different crowns. This over here, let's go back here. This is called the imperial crown. Imperial crown. Julius Caesar wore it. It's the laurel leaves. The emperor, empire. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Jupiter rules empire, expansion. The imperial crown. Here's the peacock from NBC. They're all up here. You just have to go through the different zodiacs to get them. And because they're an amalgamation. This is so much more than a Greco-Roman. There's Greek here, there's Aramaic here, there's Roman here. There's everything in here. They have just made a hodgepodge out of it. And it's incredible. How many of you knew there was a giraffe? Camelopardatus means giraffe in the zodiac. Lacerta, our lizard, but it's quite interesting. I want to switch it back over because it's double, double, toil and trouble. Sitting next to Vega, double, double, toil and trouble in Lyra. Corvus. This would be what I call the three-eyed raven. Kraz, Minkar, Yab, Chiba. We had a pope named Chiba. Let's see if we can get some of these in the Arabic. You got to look at one. We get the name from one of the other ones. So it's the raven in the Arabic. It's the corvus or the crow in the Greco-Roman. The wing. The translations come off in the different zodiacs. The tent. Corvus, the great cup, which is the chalice that caught the blood that fell down from Aquarius, the man on the cross. Here's another fiery crown looking thing. It's all so interesting to me. The head of the snake charmer. Where do we get that from? India. Passed on to the Arabians and the North Africans when they migrated over there. It's really, you start really seeing the big picture when you take it to the zodiac and take it to alchemy. I call them the two witnesses, alchemy and astrology, because they hold the imagery. They hold the imagery that is kept from us, and you start to see it. All right, people. I think I've wrapped up what I want to say. I will leave planetary linguistics link for you. It's really worth going through, especially those of you in foreign countries that can associate some of these names with your myths, your legends. And again, they're going to take one story from one culture, like our New Testament story is found written in the stars in the Aramaic zodiac. All of our medical terminology for the body, especially the brain, that we use today are the names of the stars in the Greek. And then you can start to see the truth of it all when you realize how when they divided the tongues, they divided the knowledge. They divided everything, and they passed it out into 12 different races, 12 different tribes, 12 different peoples, 12 different languages. And each one taught mathematics, one taught science, one taught language, one taught art, the liberal arts, and you have to piece all that knowledge back together. It's just one knowledge. It's just one understanding. It's just one circle. That zodiac, to me, is nature's, hear me, nature's alchemical magic circle. It's a language. Alchemy is a language. And the symbols of alchemy are through all languages, they're the same. Through all timelines, they're the same. Let me put this back. In the age, let's get on the wheel here. In the age of Scorpio, earth, water, air, and fire symbols were the same as they are today. In the land of India, earth, water, and fire, air symbols are the same they are. Actually, they've always been the same until today. Until today. Until the current age, they're now changing them. Let me show you real quickly, just to keep reminding you of what they're doing. Again, this is fire. This is water. Fire is also light. But what they changed was earth. This is air. But they write it like this. They put the line on the bottom. That's not air. That's air and fire mixed. This is earth. When you add this line to it, it's earth and water mixed. The sigils for the elements can only have 3 lines. No more, no less. But when you add this bottom to them, it changes it. It changes its meaning, it changes its power, it changes its function, and it hides the truth. So I don't believe in these two symbols, because this is earth and this is air. This is heaven, air on earth. The Aleph, this is an Aleph. This means heaven. This is a Tau, the fixed cross. I'm the Aleph and I'm the Tau. I'm the air sign on the fixed cross. That's Aquarius. I'm the Aleph and the Omega. That's the sign for Libra. I am the Omega sign. I'm the Most High, the Omega air sign. You could also go on, put an arrow there, a red arrow with that Aleph. But right now, we don't have any of that. we've got, I'm the Aleph, Gemini, and the X, mutable. I'm the Ax, AX. That's mutable air. First heaven under the dome, AX. The zodiac, Aleph Tau. The most high of heaven, Aleph Omega. The symbols don't lie. People lie. Nobody lies more than the priesthood. Nobody. They are the father of lies. The religions. I don't believe in religion. I don't believe in groupthink, because you serve the Lord your God, not his God or her God or their God or our God. But it's all just one. And these are just what rules here. They're what rules this construct we're in. But there's one above all of this. And he don't have a name, because there was nobody before him to give him a name. So we just call him Father. I call him Daddy. Alright, people. Go commit those random acts of kindness. We're going to need them. The shit's fixing to hit the fan the next few years. Things are only going to continue to escalate. But if you stay in those upper chakras, you stay in the right emotional mindset, then you'll be able to walk through this fire coming. And it's all going to be okay. It really is. 99% of it is hype and lies. Another 0.5% is distraction. And only 0.5% is actually truth. The truth is within you. The kingdom is within you. But you can know the kingdom within you by looking up. There should be wars and rumors of wars. All of these things must be famines, earthquakes, pestilences. These are just the beginning of sorrows. But when you see these things begin to come to pass, then look up, for your redemption draweth nigh. Look up. Alright, people, if these videos have helped you, won't you please help me keep them coming to you? Every little bit helps, and I can't possibly do it without you.